when your shop hires in a new guy, do they give him all the gravy work? They're on a guarantee, right? I'm assuming. Only a real idiot would ever switch shops and not get a guarantee for at least a month. 40 hours a month, right? But every manager, all they say is, oh, we have plenty of work here. You don't need a guarantee, you know? If you hear that from a manager, they're basically saying, don't come here. We have no work. And you're going to be just as fucking poor as you are at the shop you're at now if you come here. That's exactly what they mean by that. FYI, okay? Every shop I worked at, the new guy got fed. Unless I was the foreman and I dispatched. First off, at the shop where I was the foreman, I had to start interviewing new techs after the idiot manager kept hiring in scumbags, okay? I told him, I said, look, I'm just going to be a tech if you're just going to keep hiring random people off the street that I have to babysit. Either I sit in on the interview, or I'm just going to be a regular tech. So I ended up sitting in on the interviews, and I ended up hiring my replacement. How about that, dude? Come to find out, me, as a foreman, ended up hiring my replacement. How did that happen, you ask? Well, come to find out, this guy, he was smart. He was very smart. Better at diagnosing than me by far, okay? But the foreman position at that shop, it wasn't a diagnosing position. It was a production management position. It was a very busy shop. It was a get shit done, delegate position. I had 2 teams with team leaders, and if they couldn't figure it out, then I dealt with it. And that was rare. Very rare. Because the crew we had at that shop was phenomenal. Big word. Phenomenal. Can't spell it. Anyways, this fucking bitch ass became buddy-buddy with the tech that's been at that shop forever. One of those guys that never leaves, right? He was promoted to a foreman, then a regular team leader, then a regular tech, like multiple times, okay? The same shop, because that's all he knew, was that one shop. There's one of those at every shop. Shit, the guy probably still works there. He was a pretty good guy, but he had a sharp knife, dude, and he used big words. You know what I'm talking about? Sharp knife. He'd sit there and sharpen that bitch at lunchtime. Well, those two ended up becoming buddy-buddy, and they teamed up against me. They ended up getting me to become a regular tech, which was fine, and they became the fucking team leaders or whatever, okay? Switched the whole shop up, because they talked a good game. Then after all that happened, like 7 technicians quit, okay? For real. They all got fucked over by dispatch, which was these 2 guys, but whatever, okay? The new guy gets fed the gravy work, got the guarantee for months, and got a fucking sign-on bonus, and you, the tech that's been there for 7 years, is just supposed to fucking shut up about it. Mind your own business. Keep your head down. Be a fucking sheep. That's what they expect. 7 technicians walked out of that shop, all because of greed and shitty dispatching, favoritism, and management would rather watch a functioning shop burn to the fucking ground than treat their loyal mechanics with respect. I'm glad I left that shop. Every shop I left, I'm glad I left, What does that tell you? Same for you? Comment below. I'm a YouTuber now. And a musician, by the way. I'm a professional guitar player. Alright? Just became one. I'm moving towards speaking to not only techs, but customers, consumers, people, general public, citizens. My new goal is to inform them on how this industry is actually ran, how they use flat rate against us technicians and pit us against each other, all to make them rich, and also how they use color-coded sheets to scare customers into buying shit they don't need, how the advisors are not mechanics or even know anything about cars, and how they're commission-based salespeople being pushed hard to fucking sell work. I have a whole series of episodes that I'm editing right now. And that's just series 1. I also wrote another series about how dealership sales departments screw customers over. Somebody's got to call it all out, all right? And that's what's going to happen here. Nothing is going to change for the better. We all know that. I've been in this shit since fucking 2000, and you would think it would change, but it hasn't. And you would think I would have gotten out of the industry. Maybe you think you should have gotten out of the industry, but you're still in it, like me. Well, guess what? It's designed that way. They keep putting these little ladders of pay plans, just enough to keep you in that bay, sweating your ass off, or freezing your ass off because they won't even put air conditioning or heat in the shop. They just want you in there making them money. Their little pay games, it got me, right? Maybe they got you too. But guess what? I'm exposing everything. It may have taken 25 years of my life, some good, most bad, but I'm going to expose everything I learned in that 25 years and currently. And if you're a mechanic out there and you got something you want to say and don't want to say it, email it to me. I'll say it. Just leave names out of it. If you end up putting them in there, I'll take them out. This episode came from an email. Most of them do. And to the customers out there, the normal people, the person driving a Honda, a Ford, a Toyota, a Nissan, a Kia, or any car, why should you care about some high school drama in the dealership service department? Well, I'll tell you. Because the next time you sit in that pristine dealership waiting room, drinking their free coffee, I want you to look through that glass window into the shop. If you see empty bays, or a bunch of kids scrambling around, while the veteran technician looks like he wants to walk out the door and never come back, you're looking at a shop that just fed the new guy. You're looking at a trade falling apart because of greed. And that means the guy working on the brakes your kids depend on, he's not the 20-year master tech you think you're paying $250 an hour for. It's a guy on a 90-day guarantee who management is trying to keep from quitting. When the shop floor is a war zone, your wallet is the casualty. They thought they could orchestrate their little shop politics and drive out the real talent and keep running the scam. They took my time, and I took their secrets. This series, and the rest of them coming, they'll tell everything. Maybe customers will start respecting us technicians more after it. Maybe NADA will hate me more after it. Maybe shop owners will wake up and know the public knows the scam now. Maybe customers won't come to your dealership anymore. Maybe they won't come to mine anymore. I'm fine with that. But I'm still going to put it all out there. I'm doing a series on the service department, used cars, independent shops, mechanic influencers, consultants, podcasters, peanut butter, tools, managers, boats, motorcycles, and NADA. All of it, dude. So stick around, subscribe, support the show, become a member, join Patreon, order the books, like, subscribe, share, email me. Let's get the truth out there together. You think the person at the counter is there to fix your car. You're wrong. You're walking into a multi-million-dollar wealth transferring machine. The guy in the clean polo shirt, he's not a mechanic. He's a commissioned salesperson carrying a psychological script designed to strip your wallet clean. Corporate offices demand 3 hours of labor on every single car that rolls through the door. If you came in for a simple oil change, you are instantly a target for the metric. They use color-coded fear to sell you parts you don't need. But the consumer isn't the only one paying the price. The master technicians, the guys with 20 years of experience, are walking away from the trade in droves. They refuse to play a rigged flat rate game anymore. The system breaks the mechanic, and the mechanic can no longer fix your car. It's time to pull back the curtain on the modern automotive racket. Know the metrics. Protect your money. Hit subscribe.